I was 22 years old. I was attending college at St. Cloud State, and I had been having headaches pretty frequently, but I was convinced that with a full course load, staring at a computer screen all day, that was what my headaches were from. School was over, it was now June, headaches were not going away. So I contacted my primary doctor and scheduled the MRI, and then I went to work afterwards. And being an employee of the hospital, I went into my own chart and read the diagnostic report.
Well, when we got the results back from Courtney's, I mean, it was like a piece of your heart was ripped out, knowing that, you know, that's what her mother died from.
I think everyone was shocked to know that we were gonna maybe travel down this path again.
She has this brain tumor that's not in a spot that they can do surgery on, and so it is unknown, but she's a fighter and has the courage and bravery, and she just goes on with life, and it hasn't stopped her.
When I was diagnosed with my brain tumor, they asked me what was more important, quantity or quality of life. So I said quality, and they said go home. And they monitor it every 6 months now. It used to be every 3, and it just hasn't grown or done anything. So I'm thankful for that.
We met each other in college, and then we got married in '74. And then he decided to go on to the seminary, and he became a pastor just before we had our twins. He was a great dad. You know, housekeeping, I'd give him like C-, but Dad, A+. It was December of 2011 when he started having some issues, and he was getting really kind of forgetful. And so the girls said, Mom, you better take him in. The day after Christmas, they did a scan and found that he had a mass on his brain. The tumor was too large to operate. It was on both sides of the brain, and he needed to have radiation as well as a chemo pill. He never gave up, and he was able to be home with me when he couldn't work anymore and help watch the babies, which I think was really the best medicine. We were lucky to have that 5 years plus.
Our young kids really had Grandpa engaged in their lives, and so he really was himself and enjoyed the people who he was around.
His service was ended, everyone gathered outside, and the grandchildren opened a little box, and all the butterflies came out. And whenever the little grandkids see butterflies fluttering by, they always follow them and run and say, Grandpa. So we believe he's giving us a message from heaven that all's well and he's still with us.
He had started having headaches, and he had a new friend in his life, and she called me and she said, I think Isaac had a seizure. And then a couple incidences where Isaac said, I know I blacked out. Then he was with his roommate and his friend, and he had a grand mal seizure. And they went over to the hospital, and while he was in the ER there, he had another one. That next morning, my phone rang. It was Isaac. He says, Mom, I have a brain tumor. Wow, my heart sank. April 23rd was his surgery, his first surgery. May 23rd was his second one. And he went through it really well. Then 3 days after the surgery, I was in there, and he just started breathing strange. And then all of a sudden, he just started slouching. And they rushed him into emergency surgery. At that time, they weren't sure if he'd wake up, if he'd walk, if he'd talk. The strokes hit the back of the brain, the hypothalamus area. So he's what they call cortically blind. So that part is what took probably the biggest blow. That with the frontal lobotomy surgery that he had, you know, with the removal of the tumor. And now life was going to be a lot different.
Something was off. We'd been to the doctor 2 or 3 times, checked for concussion, and everybody said, nope, it's not a concussion.
I even got on him a little bit and I asked him what was going on, and you know, he couldn't figure it out, and he felt bad about it, and he just wasn't himself.
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody for about maybe 2 weeks or 4 weeks because I was afraid.
We went to Fargo for a hockey tournament, and when I got there, he was kind of shading his face like that. And I said, does the light hurt? And he said, sometimes I see 2. And I said, okay, you're done. So we went to Children's, and in the middle of the MRI, they came out and they said, he has a tumor and you're going to the hospital from here. He had the tumor resection surgery about 5 days later. He's been declared cancer-free. So he has scans and clinic every 3 months, and he's working his way back.
There's new challenges that you're not used to. But again, it's learning how to deal with them.
September 7th, 2018, I had a massive brain bleed right in the back of my head. And then I spent 1 month total in the hospital. And I had lost a lot of my ability to function. Everything was kind of a challenge.
He loved to read so much, but as time went on, he couldn't read and remember all the characters. It was almost sadder for me than him, but he seemed to accept his limitations really, really well.
You know, when he came out of surgery, he had right side deficits, his right foot, his right leg, his right arm, his right hand.
Where I was like right here. And right now I'm probably right here. I'm just getting back.
He obviously isn't where he used to be.
If we try to get him to do something he can't do, he just breaks down and he says, "Oh, you don't understand."
Your leg's messed up, your hand's messed up. You gotta rehab and do all those things like therapy. It's a bunch of hard work.
He's had to be patient, right? You know, you can't just get it all back at once, and I think he's done a really good job of accepting that.
He played hockey this year. He's playing golf pretty well. He's back playing baseball, and I think when people see him working back and fighting through it, that's part of his story. I think that's a very big part of his story, yet to be told.
For somebody so young to deal with so much and to have that positive outlook still, it's phenomenal. It's inspiring.
You know, she's always caring about others, but sometimes she needs to just slow down and care for herself.
So when he first came home, he was pretty much bedridden. So he's making strides and wanting to do more. The weightlifting came back pretty quick, and that was a passion, so I'm glad for that.
He's been working out every week, yeah. He's been killing it, actually.
He's got a really positive dad. He's got me, he's got his sisters, the extended family. He's got a ton of prayer, a ton of support from circles from all over.
He needs 24/7 care. He cannot be alone, you know, because of the memory and the vision. So caretaking, I have a new respect for caretakers. You know, I thought I knew before, but I had no idea what caretaking's like. I really applaud caretakers.
Because they lost their mom at young ages, at 15 and 12, they're best friends.
Yeah, we actually have tattoos.
My tattoo says I lead the way because I know you always have my back.
And I have a tattoo that says I stand behind you because I trust you to lead the way.
Yep, that kind of explains us.
My sisters, Lauren and Alex, they always had faith in me and always knew I could do it.
Love you.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
He was just unapologetic about just being who he was and could have fun wherever he went.
I'm thinking about the pictures that we looked at, dancing to the Chumbawamba song. He ditched his walker and he got on the dance floor with us, and we just had that, even a sense of humor of like around the fact that he didn't have balance, and he was, you know, falling a lot, getting black eyes, and just goofy to the end. I mean, he said that was his theme song.
She would turn the alarms off, turn the pumps on and off, whenever she felt like it.
She had better things to do.
Can I get a Kleenex? Thanks. Anybody else? Oh, sure. Okay.
Kleenex break, Kleenex break.
With Kylie, she has the ability to find something that turns the light switch on a little bit.
Leave that on. We're on TV right now, bro.
What? We're on TV?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because you're fantastic and you're a celebrity.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
The first weekend of chemo, He got that little robot guy that went like this.
Oh, that.
And then you danced too.
Well, I'm the best athlete in the family by far. No, Lauren is probably.
And he is the funniest guy I've ever met in my entire life.
Kylie, be careful.
You be careful.
Kylie.
He does love comedy, so this would be right up his alley.
It's a huge, huge blessing to have everybody who's involved with this organization raising money to treat this and to fund it. Jordy's road would be very difficult if it wasn't for this.
I don't want anyone else to get blindsided as I was.
I don't think Isaac likes it. Do you like it?
No.
No. Honestly, it sucks.
My dad had a beautiful mind, and to see his brain be impacted towards the end of his life when we could really use his wisdom is such a loss. I mean, I miss him desperately, and so it would have been amazing if that disease didn't have to end his life.
If by donating, it helps the research and the medical advancements, technological advancements, treatment advancements.
I think just any little money helps as much as possible to hopefully one day find the answers to why this happens and hopefully find the cure to go along with it.
I'm a person of strong faith. I believe that he can be healed, and I know it'll be this side of heaven or heaven, one of the two, but I'm hoping it's this side of heaven.
What is my hope? That he has a long and healthy life.
I know Jordy has hopes and dreams of playing in college, and I would love to see that for him.
He's got a bright future. He's a real positive kid, and he's hopeful, and he's getting on the normal side of things each and every day, so it's pretty encouraging.